So what's happening now? The reason that condos and townhomes are going up is because they still fit the profile for entry-level buyers. They still fall within the budget of a lot more people than single-family homes do.
This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now with local real estate expert Harvey Blankfeld.
I found this article in the paper. The headline is, "Here's Why Las Vegas Valley Condo Townhome Prices Are Up." And it's written by our good friend Patrick Blenner-Hassett at the RJ. And in it, I'm just going to read from the article first, and we'll talk about this. The median price of a condo or townhome sold in May was $307,000, up 1.4% from April, and up 4.1% from May of last year. I want you to remember that number, 4.1% year over year. According to the trade group, which pulls this data from multiple list service, only 559 condos and townhomes were sold in Southern Nevada in May, a 2.8% increase from April, but down 19% from May of last year. Thank you. Robert Little, an associate of Remax Advantage, made some comments about this. He says, "I believe this is largely due to affordability." He said condos with a current median price of $307 are more accessible than single-family homes, which have a median price of $480, and this makes them especially attractive to first-time home buyers, second home purchasers, so people who want to have a second home, and for those on fixed incomes and tighter budgets. Okay, so that's what's happened, because the median price of a single-family home has shot up.
Right.
It makes it hard for entry-level buyers to even consider a single-family home.
There is. It's funny when you're reading that. The first thing that came to my mind is, okay, so why don't definitely condos are cheaper on price,
Right.
but when you're actually comparing payment to payment,
Right.
you got to look at the HOA fees.
Because they can be substantial.
I know there's some HOAs around where I live. They're $400 a month.
Yeah.
$400 a month might be another $50,000 in purchase price. I don't know the exact numbers, but
Yeah.
now you're almost, you're getting to that part.
Right.
So you always want to look at the total, call it payment on
Yeah.
that situation. And the HOAs they're not going to go down.
Oh, no.
So the HOAs are always going up.
Indeed. Yeah. And yeah, okay, so you do get something for that. Maybe you have a community pool, a clubhouse, or maybe you have
the water's paid.
Yeah, maybe you have a gym, maybe you have some. I mean, there's usually some things included in that. However, it adds to your monthly expense, and it's usually significantly more than a single family home, because a single family home rarely offer those type of amenities. They don't have that. They might have a gate, which you're being paying for, or you're paying for a master plan fee, things of that nature. But yeah, you're right. Condos, the monthly assessments on condos from HOAs are traditionally significantly higher than single-family homes. They also got a quote from our president, George Kiprios, the LVR president, George Kiprios, and he says, while local condo sales and prices did post a modest increase in May, and I think he's right. I love that wording, modest. 4.1% year over year. I love that number. That's an ideal number.
That's the normal appreciation that in any projection that you see based on real estate, they always use 4%.
That's the number I love. I love that number. He said, "I wouldn't read too much into it." He said, "I do think it suggests that more buyers will recognize that condos and townhomes can be a more affordable way to enter the housing market, especially with home prices hovering just below record levels and mortgage interest rates still higher than we'd like." I mean, I love the way George worded this, because higher than we like. It's not higher than normal.
Right.
It's just higher than it was a few years ago. But really, mortgage rates are running slightly below average right now over the lifespan of mortgages. But still, they're higher than they were. Everybody wishes they would have gotten in at 2.5 and 3. And if you didn't, maybe you're just sulking, and that's not doing you any good. You need to get back in the game. According to Redfin, investors purchased 46,726 homes in the first quarter across the country, up 2% year over year. However, investors are not buying condos as much as they bought 8,509 in the first quarter, down 3% year over year, with the lowest level in a decade outside the second quarter of 2020, when COVID-19 pandemic stopped the real estate industry across the country. Now, they're talking a little bit about this, and it says investors are buying fewer condos because the condo market is slowing faster than the overall housing market, with buyers concerned condos will lose value. I mean, condos don't appreciate like single-family homes. They just don't. I mean, and that makes sense. But they generally they'll do it as a ratio of that. In other words, as long as house prices are going up, condos will still continue to go up.
Right.
But if they do go down, they probably will go down at a higher rate than single-family homes if the prices were to turn. But I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing maybe some slight adjustments.
Yeah, I don't see much adjustment in our current market right now.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, the pressure on interest rates is to push them down.
Yeah.
And if that happens, we're going to have more housing activity, which more housing activity is not going to lower prices.
Indeed, yeah.
So-
I mean, it's a question of supply and demand. We talk about it all the time, guys. If the demand increases because interest rates fall, then yeah, you're going to see that impact pricing. Right now, what you're seeing is that the inventory continues to climb up and pricing is kind of flattened out. It hasn't actually dropped. It's just kind of flattened out a bit. And so, with that being said, if interest rates do come down, yeah, we're going to see prices probably creep up again. I mean, I don't know it's going to be a lot, but the demand will be there, and so I think it's going to have an impact and start to diminish the inventory. Look, my first home was a townhome, guys. The first home I purchased was a townhome, and it was because that's what I could afford. But if you recognize the value of home ownership, and you can afford to get into a townhome, and you can be comfortable in a townhome, do it. That first one's the hardest one.
Yeah.
That's the hardest one. I can't emphasize that enough. So once you get that one done, the rest get easy. You're just moving equity from one to another, and you're not writing any more checks. You're just moving equity, and therefore, that second one becomes easy. You say, okay, we just had twins. Now we need a bigger house, so let's see what we can get for this one. As long as you don't do it within 2 years, as long as you're in there at least 2 years, you're going to avoid any tax consequences. So take the equity you built up in your townhome and move it into a single family home. And then guess what? Then when that third and fourth kid come along, then you can buy an even bigger house and trade out of that one, and that happens.